Hi everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. Quick card we're going to make today. It's fall now here in southwestern Ontario, so we're going to make a fall card. It's called Gather Together. Uses just your standard supplies, nothing special about it. I will turn the camera down and we'll get started right away. Okay, so what we have is we have this Gather Together card, and it's quite simple, and the technique is called split circle, and it's because what you use are 3 circles, and I've used my layering circles dies. When you cut the circles out, you get enough circles to make 2 cards. So the largest circle is 2 3/8 across, and when I say 2 3/8, I mean the inside edges, 2 3/8 in here, inside edges, not outside edges. So 2 3/8, 1 7/8, and 1 3/8. And if you look at this card, you'll see I've used like a large brown, and there's the other half of my large brown. I've used the large Cajun craze, there's the other half. You need to cut a large and a small out of your first colour and your last colour. Your second colour, the piece that goes in the middle, you cut 2 circles out, which are 2 by 1 and 2 circles at 1 7/8, and then you cut all your circles in half, and we'll get started on the card. Now I did go ahead and, as you see, I've cut the circles out ahead of time because I needed them for the first card. So we are going to use, on the first card we used Cajun Craze, and the DSP came from the Gilded Autumn Specialty Series paper, and this is the one we used on the first card. The one we're going to use on the second card is this one with the, this one here with the oak leaves and the acorns and things. So we're going to use that on the second card. And it'll just spice it up a little bit. We're also going to use Mossy Meadow 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4, standard card size base. Just fold that over. And my mat, as I'm calling it, is 5 1/4 by 4. Just going to go on there like that. I got a piece of 5 1/4 by 4 very vanilla for the inside, and scraps to stamp my sentiment. So let's make the circles first. Alright, so the circles, 1/2 lines up like this, and the other half lines up like this. And that's how you get your split circle, and you sort of get your swoosh going right around. It almost looks like a letter S. So we're going to put these circles together first, and I'm just going to use liquid adhesive so that I can slide them around if I need to. And this is the first one, and it's going to go right here in the corner. Just slide that off. I can just give it a little push, line it up right in the corner, and move it back just a hair so you can't see any sticking out. Oh, and what I should say is I cut these out of plain cardstock, just, you know, all plain cardstock. But what I did do was, before I cut them out, I took this large stamp from the Pretty Pumpkins stamp set, and I just stamped it a couple of times on my scraps of card before I cut the circles out. And then when I cut the circles out, that's where you see the leaves and the pattern and everything. I just thought the cardstock was just a little bit too plain, so it just added a little bit of, I don't know, flavor, dimension, pattern to it. This one goes in the corner again, right in the corner, there, like that. And then we have these 3, and they go this way. Oops. There. just going to switch these around because I have the top of a pumpkin there, so that'll put that the right way just in case anybody notices. So there we have the circles made for the center of the card. Just going to slide those out of the way. We're going to use tape runner and put this on the front of the card. There. Now we're going to do some stamping. We're going to use, still from the same stamp set, the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set, we're going to use the, what do we have here? The So Thankful for You stamp, which is going to go on the inside, and the Gather Together stamp, which is going to go on the flash across the front of the card. And I'm going to stamp it in Early Espresso. Because the card's going to sit landscape, I've got to remember to stamp this landscape. There. Just pop that to one side, and we might as well stamp the flash to the inside as well. And this is just a scrap of card, and we're going to stamp Gather Together on this, and we'll trim that to fit a piece of the Mossy Meadow green when we're ready. Okay, so that's all the stamping we need to do. So let's get this out of the way. We can put the card together. That out. So these are going to sit just like this, anywhere you like on your card, but you need to look at your card and sort of follow the center line so that the S sort of follows around all the way. All right, the center one is the best one to look at, and you can put them as far apart as you wish, but bear in mind that the further apart you put them, the larger your flash or your sentiment for across the center has to be. Okay, so I'm going to put them not quite a half an inch apart. I don't quite want a half an inch. I'm going to bring them in a little bit and just pop them on like that. There and there. Yeah, I think we'll do that. And I'm just watching. I want about the same half inch here, but I want to line my center circle up, and move it just a tad that way. There. So it sits like that, and there's your S following around, see? We can stick this in the inside. Making sure I've got it going the right way up. 1/8 of an inch all the way around. There. Now we've got to decide what to do with this. On this card here, I just did straight cuts, you know, and then I rounded the corners on it and put a couple of these nice brushed metallic adhesive backed dots, so they stick down quite nicely. Yep, looks nice. Yeah. Now we're just gonna line this across the middle to make sure that this piece almost covers right from each end, like from this end here to this end here, because I am going to have to trim this down, and I'm going to put it on a piece of green in the center. So I need to measure how wide this piece is, and it is about 1 inch. Okay, so we're going to make this piece just about 1 inch. Do we want to do 1 1/4 inches? Do we want to do 1 1/8 inches? Okay, so I'm going to trim this down to 1 1 1/8 inches. Hold it with that. What I did there, I was holding with the side of this so that the card couldn't move. And yeah, so that will give that just a nice, a very narrow border going around it. So we can't really cut too much off the cream. We could take a smidgen off each end, and then we'll just put this on the green. How wide is that? That's 4, so we're going down to, we're going to take a 1/16 off the edge on each side to begin with. You can always cut extra off, but you can't put it back on. Yes, and we'll make this one 4. So what we did was we cut the cream down to 3 3/4, and we've made this 4, and it gives us just 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So it does not give us 1/8 of an inch, I'm sorry, it gives us a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And then we're just going to put this up on some dimensional. Keep it simple. So we're putting it on the bottom corner on one side of the back and the top corner of the other, and that way it will go here and here, and it won't give us any extra extra bulk in the card. Okay, so peel the backs off. You could put a dimensional in the middle if you thought you needed it. Let's do it just for fun, just to make sure it's well supported. And this is just going to go like that, and we've got about the same amount here and here on these two. We could move that up just a shade. There, there, and there. There. And we'll pick out a couple of, I don't know whether to use the green. There's a gold, like a rose gold, but there's a lovely green in here too. I think I might use the green. And I'm just going to take my picker tool and see if I can pull it off the edge of the card, pick it up. We could do 4, 1 in each corner, just to make this one a little different. We've put the So Thankful for You in the center. We've gathered together on the outside. There's one, there's the other. Let me just turn my camera up. So there we have it, 2 lovely cards again, gathered together, which used the Pretty Pumpkin stamp set, the layering circles dies. There's one, and there's the other. As always, if you're going to use these designs, please give credit where you saw the technique. And I found this technique on Pinterest. And if you're going to sell your cards, be sure to use the Stampin' Up! Angel stamp, which just says all the supplies are Stampin' Up! Supplies. All the supplies that we used are Stampin' Up! Supplies. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Bye.